This is Unit 2, Lesson 2. In this lesson, we'll discuss angles formed by a transversal that intersects two or possibly more lines. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to identify and name angles formed by a transversal and two lines. Identify the angle relationships of angles formed by a transversal and parallel lines. Determine whether or not lines are parallel based on given angle measures, and find unknown angle measures given parallel lines. Before you proceed with this lesson, I highly suggest that you understand what parallel lines are, what corresponding angles are, and what a transversal is. If you do not remember this, please revisit Unit 1, Lesson 7. Additionally, you have vocabulary cards for the following terms. Those are going to be referenced throughout this lesson, so feel free to put those terms with the ones that you complete today. So this first video will be for the vocabulary terms specifically. Remember, you need to put the term on one side, the definition, characteristics, and an image on the other side. So the first thing we're going to discuss are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are angles on the inside, hence the interior, of the two lines on opposite sides of the transversal, hence the alternate piece. So what we will know is that if the lines are parallel, then the alternate interior angles will be congruent. But again, alternate interior angles just designates where they are within these diagrams. So in the non-parallel lines, C and F are alternate interior angles. E and D are alternate interior angles. So they are in the same position regardless of whether the lines are parallel or not. However, if the lines are parallel, we know that angle C will be congruent to angle F, and that angle E will be congruent to angle D. We do not know that information if the lines are not parallel. The next vocabulary term is alternate exterior angles. So these are angles on the outside, hence the exterior, of the two lines that are intersected, and they again are on opposite sides of the transversal. That's what alternate means, right? If you have an alternate in a sport, one person is inbounds playing, the other person is out of bounds not playing, so you are on alternate sides of the field or of the play line. If the lines are parallel, the alternate interior angles will be congruent. Right? However, again, this just designates where they are when the two lines are crossed by the transversal. So alternate means outside of the two lines. So A and H are outside of the two lines and on opposite sides of that transversal. Similarly, B and G are outside of those two lines on alternate sides of the transversal. Remember, your transversal is the line that intersects two or more lines, so that would be your transversal here. Similarly, on this diagram, where they are parallel, we still have alternate exterior angles. However, we know that angle A is congruent to angle H because these lines are parallel. Or if we saw that angle A is congruent to angle H, we would know that the lines would be parallel. Similarly, B and G are still alternate exterior angles. Angle G is congruent to angle B. Great. So our last term that we need to discuss is consecutive interior angles. Consecutive meaning one after another. In algebra, you talked about consecutive integers, so 1 and 2 are consecutive integers. 4 and 5 are consecutive integers, numbers that come one after another. So same thing with consecutive interior angles, and that means angles that are inside the two lines on the same side of the transversal. So again, we can have these when they are parallel and when they are not parallel. So for example, in the non-parallel, E and C are on the same side of the transversal and inside the two lines. Similarly, when they are parallel, E and C are still in the same place, okay, inside the two lines that are being intersected by the transversal. D and F are also inside and on the same side of the transversal, inside the two lines, and on the same side of the transversal. When the lines are parallel, angle D plus angle F will add to 180. Or if you are given the two lines and these angles, and you notice that angle D and angle F, or angle C and angle E add to 180, then you will know that the lines are parallel, and we'll go through that more in the next video.